Welcome back. This is the second month of the year, and I want to just remind everybody that we all start a new year with zero sales. And it is up to us to generate revenue 12 months of the year. And specifically, Elena had reached out to me today to ask to speak about high paying clients. What's working right now in the marketplace? Because the market is always evolving. And today, when I'm referring to a high ticket client or a buyer, we're talking somebody who is spending several thousands of dollars or more with your programs and services. And this has a very unique market. It has a very unique need, and I'm going to show you how to play there successfully. So let's kick off with our conversation today. The first thing I want you to know is that every problem you face in business is a solvable problem. And if you are wanting more business out of 2025, there are only 3 reasons you may be struggling with achieving that vision in real time. It's okay. I want to ask, and I want you guys to engage that are here live in our session to pop in the chat which one is your current reality. There's zero shame, zero judgment. And if you're catching the replay, please take stock, because it is important for you to know where you are in order for you to make a plan and execute action to lead you to a different outcome. Otherwise, my friends, you're going to wake up 4 months from now and go, wow, I lost momentum. And that, my friend, is avoidable. So let's talk about what is really going on in the world of business. The first reason people struggle with business and finding clients, or specifically today, high-paying clients, is that they just don't know how to do this. There's a knowledge gap, and they have this belief, and you might have this belief, that if I could just figure out how to do this, I would be successful at it. So pop into the chat if right now you're saying, I just don't know how to do this, and we have a knowledge gap that we need to solve. The second group of people that are struggling are a group of people that have some knowledge already in their expertise. They've had at least one high-paying client, and yet, they're struggling to repeat success. Some things are working, but they don't know which things. They can't do more of that. Therefore, they're confused. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall and trying everything and moving from shiny object to shiny object, hoping for stability, hoping for consistently, and yet it is out of reach. And so right now, if you feel like it's wobbly out there, you've had some success, but you're not confident that you're going to have success today or next week or even next month, then you are right now categorizing yourself as a number 2. And I love this. Ariana is saying, I have a challenge of taking somebody from an entry-level product to a high-paying product. We're going to talk about that. So you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to help you figure that out. The third piece of the puzzle is that you're saying, I know how to do this, but let's just call the truth for a second. You're not consistent about your discipline, and you are easily distracted and wanting it and hoping for motivation, but truthfully, it's a hot mess. And I will say all 3 of these are okay. I have been in all 3 of these at different points in my own business, and all of my clients come to work with us at different elements of this. And you might even be at 1, 2, and 3. But here's what I know. Knowledge can be found. I'm going to show you how to do this today, so you will have the knowledge that you lack. I'm going to show you what to focus on and have you evaluate your gap. Because truthfully, if you knew what to change, you would change it. Mariana is a perfect example. She said, I find it hard to do this. And yet, if you're doing the same things over and over again without a fresh perspective, which is what I am here today to help you with, you will constantly have the same gap. So we're going to solve that. And thank you. Sophie's saying, I have a gap, number 1, I don't know how to do this. And Chica is also saying, I don't know how to do this. Well, let me show you what business is all about. And sometimes this is the biggest challenge. You don't know how business runs. So let me show you, because I have helped more than 400 businesses of every size and shape in all over the world. And I've helped them create money, a lot of money, like $1 billion in revenue. And here's what I know. I want to invite you to step into my world. I believe that business growth is elegantly simple. I want you to cut your own BS, which is your belief system, or if you're a little more colorful, the words that you may have naturally said, BS. You have to be honest about where your gaps are because nobody's going to build your business for you. If you don't know how to do this, you must equip yourself with knowledge. If you don't have the skill set, you must acquire them. And you must recognize that business is actually simple and you're doing the wrong things and it's not working. But if you want to stay at the table and win, you can't live with that current reality. So I will tell you today, high ticket clients want something very different than low ticket. So Marianne, if you've been struggling to take low ticket to high ticket, it's because they don't want the same things. And you're talking to two very different audiences. And your messaging has to differ if you want to be successful. I'm going to tell you that without a doubt, you have to do the work and way more work than you think. I will tell you that growing a business doesn't take an hour a day, even though in my own journey, I started an hour a day. But an hour a day didn't build me a six-figure income. An hour a day made me $10,000 over 12 months. If you need more than $10,000 a year, you have to put in more work. And it isn't about time. It is about the repetitions and the right work. And that's what I'm going to show you so you can stop wandering in the wilderness and be more effective. I will tell you also that the most important thing you can do is one next thing. Don't look at the whole ladder and the whole staircase and think I'm going to need to do all steps. It's true that yes, you will, but you don't have to do them all. And the order matters. And that's what most business people will not tell you. I, as a mentor, help people find the right order. That's why my clients win successfully in every economic cycle. And I will say, get help. It is costing you more to do this by yourself, figuring it all out ineffectively, than to invest in a mentor. And yes, I am a mentor that can support you. So let's show you how to do this. First question I want to ask you, though, is really making sure you understand Business 101. I want you to pop it in the chat. Number one priority of your day. So when you got out of bed today, you have probably a long task list, if you're like most entrepreneurs, and there were a million things on it. What was the one thing? What is the one thing that if you tick off that task, that at the end of the day, when you close your computer, shut down your phone, leave your office, and resume normal life, not business owner life, that you will go, I feel good today. I did the big thing that mattered the most. Pop it in the chat. What was this one thing for you today? What's the one thing that you're thinking, that's the holy grail for me? If I did this thing, I would sleep better tonight. I would feel good about myself as a business owner, and it would make a difference. So we've got a comment in the chat here. I was filming video today. What else? What else are you doing today? Post a video. That could be engaging in social media. Ensure current clients, so the phrase is our, so current clients are satisfied. Anybody else? What else was your number one thing today that you think that's the biggest priority of my business? That's the needle mover. One more comment in the chat. What else are you doing that's really helping you move your business forward? Delegate. All right. Guys, I appreciate all of you for sharing what you are focused on. I'm going to give you a mind-blowing reality check. None of those things are important. They're not the number one priority to make success in your business. Your number one job today was to make an offer. And we're going to talk specifically about what an offer is, but your number one priority every single day is to sell something and create revenue. Posting on social media, talking to current clients, engaging in your emails, all of that stuff, updating your website, all of it, writing books, chapters, all of it is secondary to, yes, making an offer to a new potential buyer. That is your number one priority every single day. And it isn't about posting stuff and hoping somebody finds it. You have a different mindset going into your business. Let me take you to business school. There are only two things that matter in your business, because these two things predict your revenue in the next 90 days. These are the only two things that matter. Everything else you're doing is a distraction because it doesn't create current revenue. Number one, your business will be built on strangers, and you need to make friends with strangers. And in that exercise of meeting friends with strangers, you need to move the buyer, the person who wants to put cash in your pocket, towards you so you can make an offer. So number one, you've got to meet more people across the board, real human beings, not bots, none of this. I mean, human to human. We're talking high ticket clients. High ticket clients want to talk to a human. You have to be human in this experience. But you've got to talk to more people, and you've got to be able to identify a buyer. Hang tight. I'm going to tell you what a buyer is, because most of you are probably not talking to buyers because you're not making sales. Second thing is that you have to make an offer, and you have to be sure that they are ready to make a decision, or they are not an offer ready buyer. So stay with me. This is what I will tell you you should focus on. So take a screenshot of this. It's really important. When I'm working with clients to build predictable client growth with high-paying clients, I tell them, here are the three most important skills and focus you can have in your business. And when you are growing your business, this is the only thing you do. And when you have a business that is in good health and you are at pretty full capacity, I mean, you can serve as many clients as you'd like, you still focus 50% of your time on this, because this is what creates stability. Number one is you have to know who your next customer is. And your next customer is a decision maker, somebody who is looking to solve a problem. They're at a decision-making moment, but your current client already decided. That is not the same time in the continuum of a journey. Note that. Who's your next customer? Number two, how will you move somebody from curious to paid client? Here's a tip. Google did a lot of research about customer behavior, and they said that on average, customers who are looking to make a decision to find a solution, aka buy something, are going to research. And not just research one thing, research 7 to 12 things about a company before they make a decision. And when you are working with high-paying clients, that research is really important. They're looking for, are you legitimate? Do I trust you? Are you capable? Do I understand what you're offering? Do I believe you can help me? Do I believe that it has the right support and structure? And truthfully, are you committed to communicating with me, human to human? That means that you have to have a strategy, a big picture strategy that moves somebody from curious to paid client. So one post on social media won't do it. One website page won't do it. There's a whole ecosystem that we build out in order for clients to find us, see us, engage with us, and that all happens in the dark. We don't know what's happening out there until somebody puts up their hand, phones us, emails us, responds to something, or shows up and chats in a live event like this one. But you have to build this roadmap. Number three is that it is up to you to make an offer and to lead this, because the person who's researching needs to know you are a hireable solution, not just somebody to educate. them on a possible solution. And most people, most business owners are crap, excuse the language, at making offers. You don't have the sales skills. You don't have the confidence. You don't understand what you're offering. And that has to be solved. And here's the good news. It can be solved. So every day, your number one priority is sales, and you must be looking for a buyer. You must be able to move and influence a buyer, and you must make an offer. Okay? This is Business 101. And then we're going to tell you what's working. So I want to lay the foundations even further here, because buyers are decision makers. Okay? If somebody is not prepared to make a decision, you can offer them the moon for $0 and they will not buy the moon for $0. So being sure you're talking to a person who is a decision maker is important. Here's what makes a buyer ready to make a decision. Number one, they are already problem aware. Your job is not to educate them about a problem they don't know they have and try to convince them that they should buy services from you. And I see a lot of people make this mistake. You are talking to the wrong people. If you are going to try to create a buyer, it is years in the making, and you will go broke in the interim. So find somebody who already knows they have a problem. Number two, because I know I have a problem, I already have tried to solve it. I may have Googled it. I may have looked on Pinterest or YouTube. I may have gone to Facebook. I may have asked a family member. I may have asked an office colleague. I may have read a book. I may have listened to a podcast. I may have just simply tried a million times different things. The truth is, I've tried to solve this, and yet I still have the problem. And my friends, you want to find a repeatable problem as a business to serve. Because if they only have the problem once, you have to have a lot of volume to stay stable in your business. You can? Yes. Is it harder? Yes. Do you need a lot more systems, money, and structure? Yes. High ticket doesn't require that. You can build a beautiful business with high ticket clients where you serve 3, 10, 15, or 30 clients a year instead of 300,000 clients a year. What appeals to you more? Because I know I have a problem, I've tried to solve it, and yet the problem still exists, which means I am still open-minded. This is really important, guys. Please write that word down. I'm open-minded to another option, which means as a human being, I am curious about another option. So your job in marketing to a high-ticket client is not to educate. It is to spark curiosity about another way to solve a known problem. And some people will say, I'm interested. That's great. Other people will say, I am not interested. That's great too. You don't want to waste your time with tire kickers. You want the people who say, I'm curious, to follow you. And that's how we start to move them from curious to paid client. But the third piece of the puzzle also is important. The buyer, the customer, the client has to be committed to doing something different. Because if they go, that's a beautiful idea, but I'm just never going to do it, they will not pay money for your service. And if they do pay money for your service, they will do chargebacks, they will complain, and they won't be a success story for your business. And so I personally would never offer someone who's not committed to taking action. So let me ask a question to you and to the people here in the room. Are you talking to people who are buyers right now? Very likely you're not. And so this is really important. I tell my clients, this is a good tip for you. I put a Post-it note on my screen and say, every day I'm looking for a buyer. If they're not a buyer, I don't make an offer because I'm too early and they're not ready to make a decision. They're in research mode and I let them research. I have tools for that and ways to experience me. But until you're ready to say, Christine, I need help. I need to make cash in my business and I don't have the skills, knowledge, or confidence, until you're at that place, I won't make you an offer to my services. I will offer you knowledge. So let's talk about what high-paying clients want, okay? Because this is important. High-paying clients want something very different than low-ticket clients. And Mariana, this might be part of the challenge. Number one, they want predictable results. They're prepared to spend big money for a higher certainty of a result. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they want to know that they made a good decision. So evidence is important. Past history of success is important. Knowing you've worked with other people is confidence boosting. And when they make a decision and they ask you, tell me about your programs and services, they want to be confident you know what you're doing. And they want to be confident that after they sign the check, give you your credit card, they're going to go, I made a good decision. I'm still scared, but I know I need this. And I'm more willing to need this than I am to worry about the money. Because when you are investing at a high ticket level, whatever the cost is, whether it's $2,000 or $30,000, it doesn't matter. That cost is lower than the opportunities I'm missing. Otherwise, you never make a deal. And here's what's important. Please, please, please. The world of AI is not helping you here. You must be seeing your high-paying client as human. They must experience your business as human. And they must feel like they are not just a paycheck where you take the money and run. And seriously, so many people in businesses are blowing up their businesses, relying too much on automation, too much on excusing themselves from making phone calls and responding to emails. When you're in a high ticket place, I want your phone number and I want to know if I phone you, you'll answer it. So beware, if you want high ticket, you have to play the game there, which is why all of my clients get high touch, high results, high impact. They have my phone number and they have ready access to me. And that's what they pay for. So do you want that? I want to share with you 6 common business mistakes I see when it comes to attracting and wanting to win with high ticket, but you're struggling. So if you were a 1 or a 2 earlier, this is you. Pay attention. The first thing that you are doing wrong and you need to be aware is you are posting on social media. I don't care whether it is on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I don't care whether you're using static images or video. If you are posting on social media, buy my stuff to a high ticket client, you are wasting your time. I have a good friend of mine. He's made more than $20 million on Instagram. And his number one tip will be, you don't sell on Instagram. You can educate, inspire, spark curiosity, but every single sale happens off the platform, human to human, at a high ticket buyer. So yes, you should be on social media. If your message is, hey, come find me and buy my stuff, you're wasting your time. It's ineffective. Number 2 is if you are reaching out to people who do not know you and who have not raised their hand, said, I'm interested, and so you are making an unsolicited pitch, you are wasting your time. You making assumptions that a high ticket buyer needs you because you Googled them is 1 in a million chance of getting through. I don't mind cold outreach, but don't reach out to sell. Reach out to inspire, ask, and ensure that they are a buyer and you are asking for permission to say, I've got a potential recommendation for that. Would you be interested? Pitch slapping will kill your business reputation with a high ticket buyer in a heartbeat. It is not a volume game. You are looking for 3 to 50 clients a year. Not hundreds of emails are needed to go out every day to people you don't know. The third thing, I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, is relying heavily on automated funnels. Everybody wants high ticket because they want the money, but you have to have a high promise, high service, high deliverable. And so you can have automation in your business. You can automate contracts. You can automate some communication, but you have to give people an exit ramp. They have to be able to phone you and talk to you. And I will tell you, I never make a high ticket offer without a conversation ever. Because I don't want to be committed to you and I don't want you to commit to me for 6 to 12 months if I'm not really sure I can help you and I want to, and we are a good partnership to reach the result. Automation will help you. It will not close the sale. Okay. Number 4, generic marketing. If you are using what sounds like everybody else, offering unicorns and really big promises, you are wasting your time. Here's the perfect example. I'm going to give you one from the financial advisor community. So if you're a financial advisor in the room, I apologize. I'm talking to you. If you say to somebody, I'm here to help you retire, or I'm here to help you have time freedom, I will never buy your services as a high ticket buyer. It's not that I don't want to retire. It's not that I don't desire financial freedom, but I did not Google a solution around retirement. I did not Google a solution around life freedom. You're using weird abstract words. What matters to me is how do I find $3,000 to make a payment in my tax year by the next 2 weeks? You have to be specific. What specific problem are you solving that I will pay to get support on? If it's nice to have stuff and it's not tangible, you will not win in business. Number 5, is that you are seen as a likable expert where you over-educate and you don't position yourself as a must-hire. I can give you all the knowledge you have. I've given you everything you need today to be successful in business, and I will keep doing that for another 10 minutes. But at the end of the day, you will only get so far. If you need help implementing, being in my programs is the smartest investment you can make because almost all of my clients will return their investment in 2 to 3 clients. And the goal is not just 2 to 3 clients. It's an infinite number of clients for the lifetime of your business. How do people see you? And number 6 is that you are not using social proof. It's easy to say, I'm awesome. What matters is the fact that you hear from my clients. What matters is that you've seen the fact that I've been in business for 30 years. What matters is that when I've stood on a grenade, I got up, and I will be openly talking about that to the same level as when I've had a rock star moment and I've hit something to the stratosphere. You have to show your high-paying client that they can know you, they can determine if they like you, they can trust you because they're putting big dollars in your pocket. And here's the 4th one most people miss. You have to show you care. High-paying clients is not the fast track to a lazy business. It is higher pressure, higher reward, and it's awesome. So if those are the mistakes, how do you win? Here's how you win. First thing you need to know is that buyers do not want to pay for time. In fact, buyers at a high ticket level will pay to expedite time. So don't be pricing your programs at X dollars per hour. I had this conversation with a past client of mine who came back to retain my services last week. Actually, she wants her husband to retain my services, interestingly enough. And she said, wow, that's a lot per hour. And I said to her, you're not paying for my time. You're paying for 30 years of business expertise. There's so much value that I will bring in a 20-minute conversation that it is worth 10 times that cost. So don't position yourself in a time way. You have to know what results you stand for because they will only pay for results. Yes, absolutely. Case studies, feedbacks matter a lot. They want to see somebody else's story. They want to put themselves in somebody else's success line. And they want to know that you have durability, which means you will be here. I have 100% certainty I'll be here in a year. I have 100% certainty I will be here in 5 years. So when clients commit to me in a high ticket offer, I have a group offer and an individual private client work, they have 100% certainty I will be here when they need me. Can you say the same? And for a high ticket buyer, they will pay for intimacy, exclusivity, and access. What does that mean for me in my business? I don't ever bring programs with more than 20 people into them. Every face is known. Everybody gets an opportunity. Everybody has, yes, I have boundaries, but gets my phone number and my emails and knows how to reach out to me. We support the fact that people are human and need human connection, a high degree of it. And clients need to know they're winning because a high-paying client is often with you longer. They don't just download a $27 thing and watch a video. They're going to be with you potentially for months or even years, and they need wins to be sure that every time they make a payment, and many times payment plans are very common with high-ticket clients, they want to be really sure every time they make that payment, this is valuable. I'm winning. I'm making progress. And progress doesn't have to be perfect because people will go forward. They will go sideways. They will go backwards. And you as a business have to be able to support that at a high ticket level. And finally, it goes without saying, people want a level of customization. That can be that you do 80% the same, but you offer some level of flexibility. And you can negotiate what that flexibility looks like. And what matters here isn't so much that it is customizable by the client, because you might have a menu that they could pick from, and that gives them customization, but gives your business standardization. What matters is they feel treated like a human and not a transaction. So here are 4 ways you can find high-paying clients. Sophie, I'm going to come back and answer that question. Let me just show you where to find them first. So here's where you will find people. High-paying clients are in places that are experiential. Okay, that's why I said automated funnels are not the best strategy. So speaking is important. That might be attending events, speaking at events, sponsoring events, or hosting events. Because here's what I know for sure about my business. Not a single person in this room got out of bed to hire me today. And yet after this, several of you might reach out and say, I need to know more about your programs because I need the answers you will have. Experiences are what high-paying clients are looking for because it's fast for them to say, I like her, I don't. I get her humor, I don't. She seems knowledgeable and capable, and I'm interested, and I can spark curiosity through an experience quicker. I will say networking is very important, but not in free communities. Yes, you will find high-paying clients in free communities. That's true, but you will be more effective if you pay to be in a networking community. A level of standard of investment, if people are spending money on networking, they're going to spend money on other things. If they're only doing free and they're only doing cheap and they're only doing heavily discounted things, you will attract that. So I will tell you what's not on here is giveaways. Because if you give away something for free, and I don't mean knowledge, I mean if you give away a free resource, don't expect somebody to go from free to 3,000 in one heartbeat. Yes, the ascension model works. And yes, people can come into something and want more, but it's a harder path than you're being led to believe. So get into a paid networking space. It's important to pay for referrals. When you have a high-paying client or you know somebody who receives and has a high-paying client in their business, you should be looking for partnerships and paying for referrals. In my business, I reward anybody who brings business to me that I close who is a buyer ready to decide 10% of the revenue I create. It's a huge reward and a huge thank you because it's hugely appreciated. The fourth is joint ventures. Find people in sequence of your service and partner together to get in front of each other's audiences to offer value. So in my business, I am a strategic advisor. And so I am looking for other people who provide similar professional services. That could be accountants and lawyers who know what's really going on in somebody's business and says, you might need more clients, go find Christine. And in my business also, I need people who will support marketing and some automation and personnel support, HR teams, VA teams, things like that. And I refer people to them and they refer business to me. You don't have to do all the work yourself. But these rooms are the ones you want to get into. And so, Sophie, I want to come back to your question. So Sophie's asked us, what do you consider to be the key elements of converting a high ticket sales funnel? The first thing is that you have a result that is valued. And so you should ask before you make an offer, tell me why the result that you want is valuable. What have you tried? Why haven't you reached your success? Would you be open to hearing my recommendation? What do you like about my recommendation? Do you agree that the recommendation I am offering is a better, more solid, more predictable, and more reliable path than the one you're currently on? So if that is true, would you like to know the investment? This is the investment. It gets you to this result. You said it was valuable. How would you like to pay for it? And this is how we begin. The first thing you have to be sure is that it's valued. The second thing you have to be sure, Sophie, is that they are a buyer. And the third thing you have to remember is your sales funnel is about making a decision. It's not about whether the decision is yes or no. So you have to be sure you're getting to a place that makes a decision. And when I'm working with clients, there's 4 questions we work through. What do they want? How will they get it? Who do they need to be? And who can support them? Me, the must hire. And why is it a non-negotiable? And if I can walk people through those 4 questions, we have a very high conversion. And if we're not asking those 4 questions, conversion always drops. So I want to share a quick success story, and then I'm going to give you a free resource. So every client's journey is different. When you're working with high ticket, every client is different. This is my client, Ashlyn. Ashlyn works in the not-for-profit sector, okay? Her goal was not money, and I want you to hear that because yes, I'm a business coach, and yes, I help people make revenue, but her goal was that if she could create money, she would give it back, okay? 5 months into her 3rd year, she had more revenue than the entire previous year in just 6 months. And they've claimed more revenue than the past 2 years. What does that mean? We went from a business that generated around $50,000 to a business that generated $300,000 in about 18 months. That's a rapid growth. And one of the biggest things that changed was who she was serving. And Mariana, you will enjoy this component because she was originally serving a lower value client. She had retainers. She's a marketing agency. But I said to her, why every month are you negotiating contracts for $1,000? What if, like these clients, do they love you? Do they need your services long-term? So why are you negotiating every month a new contract? It's highly labor intensive. It's a lot of admin, and it stops you from finding the next client. So we shifted the business model. We added valued results to the clients. We made that new offer to each of her clients, and 50% of them said yes. As a result, right away, her business doubled in size, and she had a lot more time. When she had that time, she started to hire team members to provide faster service, higher quality service, more services. And as a result, her business has this real stability in it. My friends, that's the difference. If you want to win in high ticket clients are wanting different things. And it is a really beautiful way to grow your business. Beautiful way. So I said briefly, if you're curious, there are 2 programs I offer, group programs and private client work. Come find me. ChristineCampbellRapin.com is where you can look at what they are. I want to give you a free resource. And then I'm going to open to Q&A. You might have made the realization today that you're not talking to buyers. And I said buyers have 3 things. They have a problem that's known. They are open-minded to exploring options, and they are committed to some level of change to get better results. But you may realize you're not talking to buyers right now, and you don't know where to find buyers. And I've given you some ideas about paid networking, joint ventures, referral partners, and yes, speaking is a huge way to attract a high-paying client because it's experiential. So I have this free resource. I'm going to drop it into the chat so that everybody has it, at least here in the feed here that we're streaming live. It's a resource. In this book, there's 11 pages of 25 different ways that you could find your next high-paying client. I do not want you to do 25 things. I want you to read through the book and figure out which way, picking your lane, feels like I could do that all year and commit to doing it well. Find your lane and get great at it. There is a recap of those 3 characteristics so that you can always go back and remind yourself of what it looks like. And I want you to know what you need to do step by step by step, because the sequence matters. The focus matters. And high-paying clients out there are actually becoming more and more urgent in their decision-making because they have tried all the low-ticket stuff already. They tried the PDF, they tried the book, they tried the course, and truthfully, 80% of them stalled out, stopped making progress, and are now in the position they're saying, I need help, I'll pay for it. Do they love paying for it? Not always. Will they? Yes. Because truthfully, the right mentor, you, in your business, will help somebody get there faster. Help them get there with less stress. Help them pick themselves back up when life gets in the way. And you will build a beautiful reputation as a trusted partner who they can get to know, feel safe with, show up and do the work with, and I hope have a lot of fun with. So guys, if we've not had the opportunity to meet before, I am Christine Campbell Rapin. I want you to go grab that resource. And I want to know if you have any other questions, please pop them in the chat. Myself and Olena are happy to respond to anything to try to help you make more business this year. We're 6 weeks into the year. There's lots of customers out there, and I want them to find you. So what questions have you got? Could I share an example of a cold outreach successful client? Sure, Sophie, I can happily do that. So just to clarify, I'll repeat that. Can I share an example of a cold outreach message that successfully converted a high-ticket client? Let's just be clear what you mean by that. You are never going to have an immediate cold outreach get to yes for thousands of dollars. Okay? You can have a cold outreach to somebody, and I would suggest if you are selling something, LinkedIn is your best social platform because it is business orientated and it's not weird to cold outreach in LinkedIn. But you need to go to somebody and you could ask this kind of question. And it would be the same if you were making a phone call. And you have to do the research to make this call effective. So if I reached out and said, Sophie, I don't want to waste your time, but based on my observations, you are struggling to find your next client. I have some ideas around that. Would you be open to hearing them. That's it. That's the cold outreach. Let me break down what I've done and why. One, I've given them a very specific free pass. If this is not a priority for you, which is part of the buyer question, then they won't want to have a meeting. I've asked them if the problem is a priority. And I've said, I will bring value to a known problem. Are you curious? So in that outreach, I've addressed all three requirements to determine if they're a buyer. If they come back and say, sure, I'm interested in that, my preference would be to have a phone call. I'm not going to send them resources. They will never read them. I'm not going to send them to a website. They will get distracted and not do it. I'm going to say, can we jump on a call? Those calls would be less than 20 minutes and say, let me ask you 5 questions and give you a recommendation. And when I have that call, here's what it would look like. So we are here to talk about the fact, Sophie, you are looking for your next client. Is that still a current problem for you? And is it a priority? Yes, Christine, it is. Okay, great. So tell me what you currently do. What's working? What's not? What's the gap? Why do you have that gap? Okay, well, I'd like to make a recommendation to specifically improve that result and to address the gap. Are you interested? Yes. I ask permission for a yes. And then I give one specific recommendation. And then I will ask this question. What do you like about my recommendation? That's an important question because it will tell you how to get to yes. It tells you how to convert the client. And they say, well, Christine, I really like the fact that you're going to do a sales sprint. You're going to help me figure out what to say, and you're going to have accountability to get to the result. Because right now, I know I should do it, but I'm not. I say, great, you're absolutely right. Our program includes those elements specifically because we know clients succeed and find their next client predictably for it. So would you like me to tell you what the investment is? And again, Sophie likely would say, yeah, I'm curious. And I'll say, here's what the investment is. And here's why it gets you the result. And I would ask for the offer. Are you ready to say yes? If they say, no, I'm not ready to say yes, I have questions. Great, we'll answer all the questions you might have. And I'll remind them that not solving the problem costs them more than solving the problem at the investment level I have stated. And I, again, ask for the sale. This is a conversation. Note I said this was a conversation. I know you want to hide behind a keyboard. In a high-ticket client, it is not effective. Because I said, what does a high-ticket client want? Access, human, and a person, which means you have to do that. And let me answer that question. Marianne's got a question. Marianne, what if they say the money's not available? So if somebody says the money is not available, I would generally say 99% of the time that's not true. What that means is 2 things. You have not shown the value to the buyer. You have to look through their eyes, not yours. And 2, you haven't established that they were a buyer in the first place. So you're talking to somebody who's not prepared to invest, which makes them not a buyer to start with. And I would tell you 99% of the time is not true, because I have it happen all the time. People saying, you know, I don't have the investment to work with you, Christine, for example. And I said, well, let's just take you through the math. I had an email that went out to my list that said exactly this on Monday. So I'll give you an example. My group program current investment is $10,000. And people say, I don't have $10,000. I said, well, do you want a business? Yes. How many clients did you have last year? 0. That's why I have no money. I said, so if you kept doing what you were doing, you will stay at 0. Is that fair? That's fair. So I ask you again, do you want a business? Because you don't know how to create a business, and I've created $1 billion. So do you want a business? Yeah. So if you want a business, you have to equip yourself with the skills. This program in 6 months will teach you what to say, how to say it, create the structure and an accountability plan, and give you access to business mentors who will help you role play and find the answers. Do you believe with our program you can have better results? Yes. What's your average client? What's your offer now? Well, in this example, this person's like, I sell a $10,000 service. I said, so for every month you don't find a client, you lose that capability because you have a done for you service. She's a marketing agency. So I said, for every client you don't have a month, you're 6 months into the year, you're now $1,500 behind what you could have made. Working with me, we're pretty sure we'll find you at least one client. Chances are we could find you 5 clients over 6 months. That's $50,000 of revenue. So explain to me again how you don't have the money. You'd spend 10, you'd gain 50 minimum, and possibly even more. This doesn't make any logical sense not to find $10,000. So I ask you again, do you want the business? You have to understand that if whatever in their life was a crisis, your boiler broke or your car broke down, they would find the money. If someone says to you, I don't have the money, it's not that they don't have the money, it's that they don't see the value and they're not seeing this as a priority investment. And if someone says, Christine, it's not a priority for me to build my business, I said, fine, then you're not a client today, but I will be here in a year, guaranteed. And if you are still in the same place a year from now, I will highly recommend we have another phone call and we talk about that. And 9 times out of 10, this happens in my business all the time. People come into my business a year later and they're like, crap, Christine, I made no money last year. And I said, well, we've doubled our revenue every year for the last 3 years. Is it time to revisit the offer? Yes, because I have to find the money. You've got to understand what motivates the buyer. You've got to understand the consequence of not solving it. And you need to make it a very truthful story that you have to prioritize finding the money if you want to solve this problem. And you have to be seen as somebody that's a really good investment. Because in my business, for sure, it's not the $10,000. It's a stretch for many. But truthfully, I said, do you want the business? Because this program is structured unlike anything else in the marketplace. It's not theory. It's real working. It's accountability. It is all of it. And we will help you build the skills. So I hope that's helpful, Mariana. When someone says they don't have the money, it's 99% of the time not true. Is that it's not a priority and you haven't justified the value and you often have not ascertained that they're really a buyer. And you need to do that before you make the offer. Because when you make the offer, you can keep looping back saying, truthfully, explain this to me. $10,000 to gain 50. I don't understand why that's not a logical investment. So if we could solve the payment plan, are we a yes? And you have to get the micro buy-ins. And at the end of the day, once they make a decision, you have to make the decision right. And so if it's a client who says yes and says, yes, I'm scared, I'm going to still write you the check, I'm still scared, we have to deliver at a high ticket client. We have to make sure we get the support. We have to make sure we have the right resources to ensure they make good decisions and get the return on investment. It's not up to us to do the work, but we have to provide the structure. We have to provide the support. We have to provide the human compassion. And yes, we have to hold the line with our integrity. And I will tell you, as a mentor, there'll be days that you don't love working with me because I'll be like, do something. You're like, I don't want to do it. Like, do you want to get the money to pay the $10,000? You're going to have to make the phone call. I will help you make the phone call. I'll help prepare you to make the phone call. But my friends, if you want to find a client, go make a phone call. And then they'll grumble and they go, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I said, stay in momentum. It's easier than creating it. You're so welcome. Anybody else have any other questions? I know we're at the hour.
Christine, thank you very much. It's always so interesting to hear you, to listen to you, to your tips. As I understood, it's everything about expectations and offer. When you are looking for your customer and your customer is somewhere and looking for you too. So, can you answer another question from me?
Sure. Yeah.
What are maybe specific red flags, if I can say so, indicate a lead is not a good fit for you, or it's he or she is not for a high ticket offer? So maybe it's not just your customer.
Yeah, the number one thing I would remember working with high ticket clients is that they have to be the spark and you're the fuel source. So if somebody is like, I want you to, like, even in a done for you service, like we hold our clients' hands to a very high degree. But I said, I am not the one, I'm not your business. I am a support for your business. So a red flag to me is somebody's like, I want you to do it all and I want to abdicate all responsibility. You have to be responsible for doing the reps. I'm responsible as the mentor or as the business owner who's offered the service. I have to hold the standard. I have to have the skills. I have to have all the tools to help my client. But if my client abdicates responsibility, that's my number one red flag. I said, you're responsible. I'm a supporter. I can't drag you. It's not my job to drag you. My job is to provide the resources and the structure and the support, but you have to do the action. So number one red flag, abdicating responsibility. Number two red flag is always, and that's why it's often, I said 7 to 12 steps before you make the offer. I have to be sure that you're a person of integrity. I have to check your values because for me, I want somebody who stands with similar core values. If somebody has no similar core values to you, it's a red flag because you won't understand the way they think. You won't have the same expectations and you will be frustrated by it. So for me, communication and integrity and respect are required. If somebody is not respectful, doesn't have the I will follow through gene, they're not a good fit for our programs because I said, my job is not to drag you. My job is to, yes, inspire you and support you and to hold your vision, but you do the work.
Yeah, I like it. I like it so much. Thank you very much. And it looks we've addressed all the questions in the chat.
Perfect.
And as we near end of our session, is there anything you'd like to add or highlight before we wrap up?
I will just remind people working in the high ticket space is fun. I mean, this is where I play. This is where my clients play. It is about really helping people get results. So if you want to go play in that real high level, it's beautiful and way easier to work with a smaller group of clients than to serve thousands when you never get to see front row the results that you create. It's really beautiful. So go do it. My invitation is come play.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christine, for sharing your valuable tips and insights. Guys, be sure to connect with Christine on LinkedIn and follow St. Paul's on social media to stay connected. Christine's LinkedIn is in the live chat, so please connect. And once again, a big thank you to all of you for joining us today. Your participation means a lot to us. Stay tuned to our social media for updates on future webinars and events. We'd love to have you join us again. Thank you, and I wish you all a wonderful week ahead. Goodbye and take care.
See you
Bye,
soon.
guys.